right, Mike Talks, the first one of 2021, and wow, what a guest we have here. I'm gonna embarrass my guest by saying that I've known this guest for a very long time, and she is, to this day, one of the best performers and comedic actors I have ever met since year 10. No, maybe year 9 I met you.
I think we met at some grotty year 9 disco in like a hall. So probably year 9.
So we should reveal, you would have seen her name on the title of the pod, but it is Alice Tovey, who is a comedian and cabaret singer. Like, you're a musician, singer, writer, comedian?
Yeah, just what was the phrase that I learned? It was lovely and wanky. Multidisciplinary artist.
You're a multidisciplinary artist. I love that because, like, I'm not even multidisciplinary. I'm just podcasts. You're everything.
No, you write sketch. Like, I've seen Siggy Mike. I've seen Harry Potter and the Boys. You're a fiction writer.
Yes. Well, and that's my longest running title, fiction writer, because I did that when I was 13. So your microphone is slowly dropping down, so you have to go under it. But
I've been doing my yoga. It's all good. I'm bendy.
Yeah, this is a very unprofessional setup, so I'm glad that you've made the time to come here.
It's my pleasure. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too, because we haven't seen each other in ages.
Yeah.
Can we talk about like where you're at? Just where are you at? I want to talk about the Alice Tovey story, where you started and where you've come from and where you are now. Go.
Wow. Just from birth to now.
Go. Yeah, for pre-birth, if you have any memories of that time, which most don't.
Oh, it was just warm, dark.
Yeah. Nothing.
Just
oblivion.
Dividing my cells. Yeah. It was a good time.
Well, that's good. That sounds awesome.
Oh God, if I could go back, take me back.
To pre-birth. Okay.
Just chilling.
All right.
Yeah, just at the moment. I mean, especially after the year we've had, it's just really getting back into that creative mindset because it's so hard to think nice, interesting thoughts when you're just staring at a wall for 8 hours a day.
Sorry, I have been distracted by your earrings.
Oh, I'm so glad you noticed.
Are they the Venus?
Yeah,
Simpson,
the
gummy Venus from the Simpsons earrings. So, wow. That is amazing. It's the gummy Venus from the Simpsons episode with Homer. That is amazing. Sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Now that's pretty much it. Yeah, I was a child. I started singing. I loved The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure we've talked about The Simpsons before.
I'm positive we've talked about The Simpsons. Yeah. We both love The Simpsons.
Sitting on like a couch at, again, some grotty party. Yeah. Quoting The Simpsons and being antisocial.
Yeah. So you loved singing growing up. I did too. And then it seems like your love of performing was always present because because I knew Alice at high school and you were one of you were like a lead in every school musical, right?
I was so precocious. I'm so, grateful for the high school life I had, but what a little shit, just getting the lead in everything and being like, yep, I'm the drama kid.
Was it like in High School Musical, was it like Sharpay who wanted to be the lead in everything? Are you a bit of a
very Sharpay?
Yeah.
Like when I was in year 12, I'm like, I'm going to go to NIDA. I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah. And so you were in, the ones I remember were you in Les Mis?
I was, yeah.
Who were you in Les Mis?
I was Madame Thénardier, so amazing. For people who've seen the movie, the Helena Bonham Carter character.
Oh, so good, yeah.
It was awesome, and I remember being really shitty because I'm like, I want to sing like one of the big songs, but then I'm like, I get to be on stage for 5 minutes and make a dick joke, and then I get to chill. I'm like, that rules.
It's every actor's dream, really, isn't it? Yeah. And then, so obviously, we're not going to talk. We can talk about the school musical stuff, but I assume that's not the highlight of your career so far.
It's up. You were in Glee Club, I remember, Mike.
I was in Glee Club.
Did you do Teenage Dream?
I did Teenage Dream. Were you in the Loretto? Oh, well, I've said your school. I hope you don't mind. The Loretto Glee Club.
Yes, I was. And we did a song from Burlesque, the Christina Aguilera movie.
I remember this, yeah. What a strange decision.
I mean, it was cool, but also just a bunch of overly sexualized children singing about how they're gonna like dance up on the table. Like in hindsight, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, like looking back, but you did a great job with it.
Thank you. It was a good time. It was good times.
Glee Club was fun, but and then since school. What's your, I'm kind of interested because you've just become this comedian who does solo shows at the Comedy Fest, but you were doing way more than that before, as in you were doing more than just solo shows before. What's your journey to getting to this point, which I consider very brave?
Oh, you're so sweet, Mike.
Thank you, whatever. Whatever.
So at uni, I was studying Get back up here.
I'm so sorry about this mic.
No, it's fine.
Maybe I need to tighten it.
Let's make it taut.
I actually gave you the mic on the arm because I thought it would be more convenient, but it seems it's just annoying you.
I wonder if I hold an arm, is that like, does that make the arm look strange?
Do you want to swap? Is it annoying?
No,
you?
it's so fine. Don't worry.
Sorry to all the listeners.
This is just a little back of house.
Yeah.
Bit of tech stuff.
Yeah, we should have had this sorted out before, but
it's
whatever.
Fine. No, we're riffing, we're chilling. It's good. It's cool. It's cute.
Cool. I'm glad. So uni.
Yes. So my journey, I was studying a Bachelor of Classical Voice, so like opera singing at uni.
Wow.
Thank you. It sounds impressive, but like I didn't want to be an opera singer. I don't know. I think I just got in and I'm like, might as well. Yeah. But while I was at Melbourne Uni, they do a show called the Melbourne Uni Law Review, which is, it's really awesome. A lot of amazing sketch comedians come through it. I know you've talked to Tim McDonald before, Sam Garlop.
Yeah.
Met those guys through that. And then we started putting on our own little sketch shows and it was really funny and silly and cool. And from there, I'm like, I can make people laugh. I've got this degree in singing well. So just smashed the two. And I don't know, I just kept going. And I guess it was a beautiful blend of like naivety and stupidity where I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know that I had to do anything a different way. So I just kept going.
Yeah, awesome. And like, talk about with the Melbourne Uni Law Review, and as you said, like Tim McDonald, who is now maybe seen on Have You Been Paying Attention?
So funny.
Yeah, he went to my school. He was in my he was the captain of
your house,
of my house, and
what color was your house?
Light blue.
I love that distinguishment.
Yeah, there was light blue and normal blue. It wasn't dark blue. It was just like normal blue, and the house captains always, for whatever reason, sorry, I keep seeing the
No, that's fine.
Just drop, and it's really annoying, and I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Maybe
I'm wondering.
That looks like a good solution to just like do that.
Come on, arm.
Feel free to manipulate the arm however you like. But like the house captains always seemed to be like really sporty dudes, and then Tim McDonald was just like a comedian who, like, he was at that point already a comedian. Like, he was one of the funniest guys in the year level.
Oh my goodness. I remember I think I was really little in school, like in year 6, and I don't know what, we had some footy player probably coming to talk to us about resilience, which is great.
Classic high school thing. I played footy. Now I'm going to teach you how to live your life.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, well, that fixed my depression.
We had Nick Rewalt talk to us, and he's cool, but I was just like, this is like so, like, the teachers must be like, oh yeah, we're a boys' school. Bloody kids love footy. Let's get a footy player. He'll relate to everyone.
Yeah.
That's for being like, I have no idea who Nick Rewald is. I assume he's a big deal in footy. Now I know he was. But yeah. So a footy player came
to school, and I remember it was the private girls' school and the private boys' school. They just mashed them in a hall, and I remember the footy player, they had some deal with a vitamin company. So Tim got up and he's like, well, I understand like how being resilient and getting that in your system helped, but can you explain how getting Swiss Ultivite in your system helped you out?
Whoa.
And I was just like, yes.
That is such a like gutsy thing to do as a student as well.
Funny forever. I could not say enough good things about Tim McDonald.
Yeah. What about Sam Garlett?
What a prick. No, I love Sam. Sam and I, we've done a few tours together. We went to Adelaide together, and I feel bad. I just kind of like bullied him because he would like sleep on the floor next to me, and I just make his life difficult. But in a loving way, I love him so much.
Sounds like a loving way. So I think it's really cool that you three all work together and are now all sort of doing your own thing in the comedy sphere, but obviously still friends. But like, just that you all started together and now, like, because you hear about like, you know, like the D generation and Working Dog here in Australia, and sometimes I look at you guys and I'm like, that's like the next kind of story like that in a way.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, I just think it's awesome. And like, funnily enough, and like I wanted to tell you this on the show because like in a weird twist of fate, and I don't think you know this, but I think it was your 21st birthday party, which I think you had at your house.
I did. Yeah, it was a Halloween party.
Yeah, it was a Halloween party. And looking back, I actually came as a ninja, but looking back on my costume, I actually painted my eyes black.
Mike.
And now looking back at that, I'm like, I hope those photos don't surface now. Like, it wasn't like I did I didn't do full blackface, but it was like I was wearing like a Ninja Turtles kind of mask.
Oh my goodness.
And people kept saying, "Are you ISIS?" And I was like, "No, I'm a ninja." Anyway, looking back, that was just a mess where I didn't understand a lot of things. That's not the story.
I do not remember you committing a hate crime at my 21st. If that's any comfort.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. But at that party, I actually hadn't seen Tim McDonald since school, and he was there.
Yeah.
And I said to Tim, I had known that Tim was doing radio at Sin FM at the time. And I said to Tim, I've seen you doing radio. How'd you get into that? And Tim was like, you just go to the training and you start doing it. And so because of that conversation at your 21st birthday, I started doing radio, community radio, which led me into the whole career I'm doing now. So I have you to thank. I actually have you to thank for everything. So thank you.
Mike, that makes me so happy. You do not need to thank me at all. I'm so happy you found it. I remember listening to you and Tom do the Yellow Family. I'm like, yep, this guy, he's going places. And you did.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So I always thought about that. Can we talk about what? I don't actually quite know what Cabaret is.
Sure.
Can you explain what Cabaret is?
Sure. So Cabaret, it's one of those it's a real broad church, but long and short of it, it's doing songs with a bit of chat in between.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, people kind of, if you think Tim Minchin, that's a certain style of cabaret, or for people, if you don't know Jude Pearl, look up Jude Pearl. She does really amazing long form storytelling and sketch cabaret. It's real cool. I like cabaret.
Yeah, so what were those, Jude Pearl, was that kind of your introduction to cabaret? Is that your first sort of...
My intro to... I remember, again, this is me being naive and just a bit stupid. I entered this competition that was cabaret, and I didn't know what it was, but there was a cash prize.
That's the brazenness of a performer. I can do this.
Exactly.
I've never done it, but I can do it.
I think I invited my mum. I'm like, Mum, I'm doing cabaret.
And look at you now. Did you win the competition?
No, I didn't. I think I won a book. I came second and won a book, so I was pretty happy.
Book? How to do cabaret.
What cabaret is, Alice?
The dictionary, and they've just highlighted cabaret.
Yeah, what you did was fun, but not what we were after.
You're just juggling on stage, and it's this is cabaret, right? No, that's circus.
Oh, it's I'm taking cabaret to strange new places. Yeah. Number 8.
Great Simpsons ref.
Thank you.
I was actually going to bring... What Simpsons ref was I going to bring up with the...
the bear in the car?
Oh, no, that's another good one. I was going to do when Homer has advanced marketing and he's reading the book, and then it shows it's introduction to marketing, and then it's just the dictionary and it's marketing or whatever it is.
That's so good. That makes me happy.
And so you did this competition, and then were you just this is cool. I feel I kind of have a knack for this or something.
Yeah, I just seeing what it was. I'm it's another way of telling stories with music, and nice. I love that whole Weimar era kind of speakeasy, smoky songstress stuff. So I'm let's dive into that. And I was really good friends, and still am luckily, with Ned Dixon, who's an amazing accompanist and composer, and we just mashed our brains together. And I'm so fortunate. I think I've written 6 shows with Ned. Which he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so I don't know Ned, but I've through following your career have through I guess osmosis gotten to know him on your profiles and stuff, and it seems like you guys work really well together and have a really similar flair and passion for what you're doing, which is awesome. So what was your first show? And when were you I'm doing a solo show at the comedy festival? Fuck this.
It was very fuck this. Oh dear. So I think I did my first solo show with Ned. It was called Malice, because it's Alice with an M.
Yes.
And I'm very clever.
Bit of a double entendre kind of
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
That would have been 2014 at the Fringe.
Wow. So you would have been 20-ish?
21, 22, I think. Or was it 2015 or 2014? Oh, yeah, just, again, a real, stupid baby just rolling around being comedy's easy.
I still am one.
You are not a stupid baby.
I am.
You're a smart baby.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was going for.
Yeah. Tick.
Please continue.
Yeah. And from there, again, just... I decided it would be a good idea. We went to Adelaide and, oh boy.
The Adelaide Fringe, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
I have never cried more times in public than at the Adelaide Fringe.
And I assume that wasn't like a scene in the show where you break down and cry. Was it just a breakdown in general?
Oh, just so many times walking down Rundle Mall in Adelaide. I was performing in this broom cupboard, like probably smaller than the room we're in right now. And yet one night it was just one lovely retiree who didn't quite know what was going on and a clown and another artist. And I'm like, this sucks. But then, very fortunately we got nominated for an award and I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm doing something right in this cupboard.
Encouragement award.
Very much that.
And then like, because you asked me before we started, like, have you ever thought about doing a solo stand-up show? And I was like, nah, like, that's like my worst nightmare. Like, just like I always say the reason I love podcasting and radio was always because like you can say stuff that you think is funny, but you never have to actually see the audience's response. You never have a live response to what you're saying. So it like, you never have to deal with that, right? So like was it hard? Is it hard performing something you've worked really hard on and like written all these songs and written a whole show and then there's like one person in the crowd? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it's devastating.
No, it's every comedian's dream. Like,
I just love really small venues where people don't laugh.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's I've had a lot of them.
Oh.
I remember performing for these. It was clearly like a couple's date night of these a lovely bunch of like retirees who just kind of clapped politely between numbers and they're like, yes, dismantle the patriarchy. And they're like, that was very good, and just politely left. I think I'm very lucky in that I know that I love doing stand-up, but I couldn't do a full hour like you. That terrifies me. So
You're pretty much doing what? Like you're like singing comedy like that. Surely that's even harder.
See, that's my comfy place because I figure that even if people aren't digging what's going on with the stand-up, they'll be like, well, she can sing pretty well, so I'm having a good time.
Voice. Yeah, okay. So that's like your protective layer. That's like the microphone for me. Like I'm hiding behind the microphone. I don't have to see your reaction. You're like, hey, if I'm not funny, I know I'm fucking good at singing, which you are. So that's like that's like your protective layer.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So you go from Malice, you get nominated for this award. Is that like, do you feel like you feel like, oh, I'm doing something right? Then what comes after that?
After that, again, just went so brazen. I'm like, I'm going to do a show with a full band.
I remember this.
Yeah. It was wild time. It was called Personal Messiah, and it's truly the lost show because I didn't write it down and I didn't tape it. So
it's all in your mind.
Yeah, it's in the old dude. I've got the music, but the jokes in between, I could have said anything. I have no idea what happened.
And so how do you go about getting a whole band? Like, you had like 4 or 5 people, yeah?
I did. Going to a music school, it's very much a scene in like a John Hughes movie. Just people walk down and it's like, hey man, we're getting the band together. And they're like, I'm in.
The School of Rock scene where he's like giving every single student their roles.
Yes.
It's sort of like that. You go and it's like, you 3 groupies, you're on lighting, you can be security.
Yeah, I did the staffing for the whole venue. I'm like, marketing,
you're
social
on
media.
bar, make sure people are getting their drinks. You can be, that's so good. And how did that one go?
Oh, it was so much fun. And the Apostles, which I've done 2 shows with the Apostles, my band, and every iteration of the band has just been the most incredible musicians I could have asked for. Just it just blows my mind that I have having this wall of talent behind me. I'm like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, they're so good that they're just going to push the show forward.
Yeah, awesome. And so Personal Messiah, and then is there 2 more shows after that?
Yes. Let me think. So there was, after Personal Messiah, I did Mansplaining.
Yeah.
And then I did Garbage Monster. Yes, Garbage Monster was my latest show.
And when was Garbage Monster?
So that would have been 2019.
Okay, so now it's been over a year since you've been able to do a show.
Yep.
Like how was 2020 for you as someone who was really like making a lot of progress in like being a performer and doing shows, and like it seemed like creatively you were just on fire.
Thank you, sweetie.
What 2020 I assume must have been like quite a difficult thing for you?
Yeah, last year it was really painful, I think, for a lot of people. Personally, professionally, but I think for a while I just kind of allowed myself to become numb to the world. It's only now that I'm really allowing myself to work through the pain of everything that happened and the frustration. But yeah, I think it's good and healthy to feel feelings, and I'm glad that that's coming out. But yeah, it really sucked.
Did you feel like, because did you have something in the works for 2020? Like, were you doing something at the Comedy Fest?
I did. I wrote a whole show, and I think 2 weeks before we were due to go on is when the Comedy Festival rightly pulled the pin on the festival. And we're like, well, I guess we'll do it eventually.
And what was that show called again?
It's a show called Doggo.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe Doggo might be coming out again.
Might come at
maybe
this year's
something's
Comedy
under
Fest.
embargo and I can't say, but maybe.
There you go, guys. I'm not going to ponder any further on that. So we might be able to see Doggo this year at some event, possibly a big event,
Yeah,
maybe a small
coming
event.
to a theatre near you. I mean, I just maybe.
Okay,
it's the big M.
Regardless of whether we are or are not seeing Doggo, do you want to talk a bit about Doggo, like in terms of like what it is about? Like,
yeah. So, in the long and short, it's a show dedicated to my first dog, who is this beautiful golden retriever called Daisy. I love her so much to this day.
And is Daisy still with us, or she?
Oh no, she's in a jar at my parents' house.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I guess.
I mean, who doesn't want to be in a jar?
I assume it's her ashes.
It's like a big dog-sized jar,
golden retriever jar.
Yeah, it's a real like Buffalo Bill situation. You just got to chuck the treats in the jar.
There's just a jar in your parents' place and there's just barks coming out of it all the time. It's like, don't worry about that. That's just the dog. We just keep her in a jar.
That's so messed up. I love it. That makes me happy.
Okay, so it's about Daisy.
It's about Daisy and how we mourn dogs and how we let new dogs into our heart, because I now have a new dog who lives up at my parents' place and his name is Arj Barker and he's my best friend. So how we mourn those we've lost and how we let in those that we've loved. But it's really funny and sexy and cool as well.
Okay, awesome. And so like you wrote that pre-COVID. So I assume like based on what you said, like was COVID a very difficult time for you? Like did you, as a creative, I just felt so numb, I guess, and I didn't feel like I could do anything creative and I just lost all creative spark. Like did you write anything in that time?
Well, I was very fortunate to be studying a master's degree at the time, so I had to pump out work for that. But in terms of joke telling, it was just because I get so much off the audience, and yet writing jokes in a vacuum is the most stressful and horrifying experience.
Yeah.
So to not have that, I'm just like, nah, I'm not interested. I barely sung, mainly because we got a cat and the cat hates me singing. So I'm like, well, I'll just shush for a whole year.
How do you know the cat hates you singing?
So whenever I'm just cracking out high notes, the cat just goes like, ugh, just scatters under the bed.
She assumes something weird is going on.
Yeah,
and she's
yeah.
like, I can't be in this room.
Just like give me the stink eye across the room. Like, no noise, mother, no.
Okay, so you just like you didn't really write any music and anything like that, but now you're coming off the other side of COVID. You might be able to get into performing again. I assume you feel really elated and like are you feeling like a little bit like in a better space?
Absolutely. It's so much, and I'm sure you get this as a creative, like outputting stuff and that form of expression. It's so much a part of who you are. And it just feels like I'm meeting myself again. And almost, it sounds so depressing, but hey, clinical depression will do that. But like liking myself again is really nice. And
well, I think I like you. And
I
know. Oh, well, not in that way. No,
no, we kissed. No,
did we?
No, I don't think we did in high school.
Okay. Anyway.
Even though I know, I'm pretty sure.
What?
No, I don't know. I remember like at a sleepover, like, you know, I don't know what boys do at sleepovers, but at girl sleepovers, you just like make lists of like everyone that you've pashed. And you popped up on some lists, Michael.
Did I really?
Yes.
That I have no memory of ever kissing any girls. So like that is really surprising to me.
You've heard it here first. Mike has kissed a girl, at least one girl that I know from high school, but more.
Interesting. That's an off-air conversation.
It's going to be cut this.
we should make a list after this of just everyone we've ever kissed.
Oh, gosh.
Me and you, after this, we're going to make a list and we'll put it, if I ever make a Patreon, we'll just make it a Patreon bonus.
Oh my God, just pop out the C scrolls. It's going to take a while. Do I need their names? Can they just be vague descriptors?
Guy from nightclub with blonde hair.
Yeah,
like
just
that kind of.
chick at house party in top hat. Like, I don't know. I'm awful.
All right, well, we'll have to set the ground rules after we record this. Do you want, like, you and me have talked a little bit, like, about anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Or is it,
sure.
like, because, like, for me, a lot of my like early years coming out of high school was just like, up until like very recently, and I still have it a bit, but like I was so anxious about everything. Like when I was like paneling radio shows for the first time, any minor mistake I made, I would just like kick myself for the next like 2 weeks, and I would avoid like running into my boss because I didn't want to see him and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I look back now and I'm like, that was such a small thing. Like, why did you respond like that? Like, what's your experience with that as a creative and just as a person?
Yeah, wow, it's a big question. I don't know your experience of anxiety. Have you always felt like you've experienced anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially at school. And I always like envied you because you were really good at, like, I know, like, I just thought it was amazing that you could do a school musical. And like, I always wanted to do them, but I never felt like, I always just felt so anxious, right? But yeah, I always feel like I've had it since I was quite young.
Yeah, likewise. I remember my parents tell me a story of when I was like in kindy that whenever I do a painting and if it would drip, I'd just scream and rip it in half. I'm like, what a well-adjusted child. But yeah, I think it's been with me my whole life and been in a lot of different iterations. So I don't want to even say suffer. Like I have depression, I have anxiety, like I have mild OCD, and it's just, it's meeting it non-judgmentally as it pops up in your life. And yeah, even though I say that like I'm so zen with myself, I am so not. Like every now and then I'm like, wow, I'm a piece of shit and I suck. But
well, I think no one else thinks that, I would say.
I'm sure I can find you at least one.
Okay.
My nemesis.
Oh, you have a nemesis?
Oh, yeah, this is an off-air conversation, but yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, interesting.
I'm going to get you. No, I think, it's just about trying to be nice to yourself every day and giving yourself what you need. But with performance, strangely enough, the first time I ever sung in front of people, and my grandma tells the story better than I do, so get her on the pod, she'll tell it better.
What's her name?
Jillian.
I'll email her right now.
She'll answer you. She's always on the bloody email. Emailing me articles. I'm like, text me.
She's like, hey, Alice, this Michael boy's emailed me on the emails. Should I go on his show?
She will not even. She'll just come to your house. Yeah.
You'll be like, Grandma, don't do it. He'll make you write a list of everyone you've ever passed. You do not want to do his show.
Oh my! And she's shout out to Jill. I love you so much, Grandma. You're the best person. Well, how do we even get onto my grandma kissing people? What were we talking about before this?
You said your grandma is like...
Oh, the story.
Should be on this show. Yeah, she should be on this show.
So the first time I sung in front of people, I just said, I'm like, Grandma, I'm going to sing at assembly because other kids were playing piano and I got jealous that they were getting attention. And I'm like, I want attention. So I
Classic.
got up. Yeah. And Grandma's like, can you sing? I'm like, yeah, I think so. And yeah, just got up and luckily could sing and just sung Tomorrow from Annie without music. And it's...
Love that song.
A classic.
Yeah.
I'm now too old to play Annie and it's like one of the biggest, most devastating things in my life.
Did you ever play Annie?
No.
Because we did Annie for like the grade 2 school concert.
Like the Little Boppers musical.
Yeah. And I just remember, you know how in the Annie movie, the guy is like, he's bald. The dad figure is bald. So one of the students had to wear like a skin colored a swimming cap to make him look bald. And I'm like this little like grade 2 kid walking around like he's bald. Oh, it was so funny.
School musicals and play costuming makes me giggle so much. Like because I'm loud and was like tall and had a deep voice compared to other girls. Like I was always playing like older women, like grotty men. I remember once like people like sticking like leaves and dirt to my face so I could play like this guy that slept in a bush, and I'm like. Great.
Which musical is that from?
No, I think it was a straight play. It was a one-act play.
So there's not... Was the character actually called Guy Who Sleeps in Bush, or was there a name of the character?
I think he was just called the Tramp, and I'm like, yeah, it does not fly now.
It was Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah. I had to eat the spaghetti out of the bush, meet the other bush dog.
Did we end up telling the grandma story? So we're detouring a lot.
Oh, no, that's it. She goes into more, you know how grandmas tell stories. There's just such extensive minutia of detail. That, it makes it more evocative. Whereas I'm like, I wanted to sing, so I sung.
Oh, so you sung, yeah.
Where she'd be like, on a warm spring day in 20-something.
Alice got up in front of the class, like that kind of vibe.
Your grandparents are still with us, yeah? Your nonna?
Both of my nonnas are, yeah.
Huge.
And my nonna tells like stories in Italian, in broken English mixed in with some Italian. And they are quite funny. I actually have been thinking about starting a segment on my podcast, which is just getting her on to tell some of her stories, because it's funny for two reasons, because like they are actually kind of funny stories, but also the way she tells them in her broken English, I find very funny. Like,
that's so cute.
I think it's very cute. What's your, like, when you write songs for your shows, like what do you, like, what's the process for that? Like, because I've written songs and it's hard. So how do you write songs?
So when I'm writing with Ned, quite often it's a bit of a push and pull of also like I want to write a samba, and Ned will give a beat and there'll be something to it, or I'll say I want to write something about the tampon tax and then we'll find that. Whereas now I'm by myself, it's such a mixed bag of stuff. Usually at the moment, because I'm writing a real like pop show, like it's all like pop music, and I love that. So it's writing like really overproduced pop tracks and then seeing what comes of that, which God, pop music is great.
But with music, like, are you writing like not only lyrics, are you writing melodies and are you writing instrumental parts, or is that what Ned would do?
So Ned, historically, it makes it sound like we've been like 1776 and we were writing music, but
back in the old days, like now we're on our 100th album, like, you know, we've really streamlined the process.
But Ned, he's done a lot of the majority of the writing of the music, especially when we did stuff with bands. He'd arrange all the parts, and he's such a talented composer. Whereas now it's me and a laptop and my anxiety, baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so, like, you just like, is it a stream of consciousness thing, or do you have an idea already, or like?
A bit of a mixed bag. I think, some people, and I admire them so much, have a very set out process of like, this is how I formulate a song, whereas I'm very much just like chucking stuff at the wall and being like, I'll do that. That's why I love working with Ned, and this isn't, Ned and I will definitely work together again. We're working on something at the moment as well.
Yeah, because it sounded like you'd just given Ned the flick, like you've gone your own way.
Ned's cancelled.
Yeah, you've done like a Stevie Nicks in Fleetwood Mac. You're just like, I'm going out, I'm doing my solo career, whatever. But you are still working with him.
Yeah, Ned is. Yeah, I love working with Ned so much. He's writing a musical at the moment, so I'm giving him space to write his amazing musical, and we've got projects on the side that we're doing together.
Awesome. So with Doggo, which may or may not be coming to a theatre near you, is that the pop one that you're writing?
It is, yeah.
Oh, cool. So are you still writing new stuff for it?
Yes, I'm very fortunate. Like, if it happens this year, who knows? It's very secret. But because
it's not happening, guys. It's not happening. Don't expect to see it anywhere.
Yeah, this is me retiring on camera.
And if you do see it, know that Alice has done you a massive favor, and it's I'm just trying to talk.
Yeah, it's just sizzle.
Yeah, it's all sizzle, guys. So you're still like workshopping that show, and
totally. I think before, pre-pandemic, it was
I've never heard anyone call it
pre-pando.
Pre the pando. I like demo, like
demo.
pandemic. Pre the old demo.
The Rona demo.
Yeah. The Rona demo. Yeah, but just back in the days before the Rona demo. Okay, so pre-pando.
Yeah, pre-pando. It was very, the theme was a little bit more obtuse, and it was a bit sillier, which is great. I love silly. Silly is awesome.
Yeah.
But I think now, all of us have spent so much time inside just like navel gazing and like pulling all the gross stuff out of us and being like, do I like me? So it kind of addresses that a bit more.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We need to talk before we finish about your comedic inspirations, which I always find extremely funny. And I feel like there's a little bit of crossover with ours. Well, probably a lot of crossover. So like when you think of like comedic, I'm more into like your childhood and like, because I think your sense of humor is shaped so much in your childhood.
Absolutely.
So like what was the stuff that made you laugh or that you found really interesting growing up?
So I'm very lucky to have super funny parents, and there was always comedy on around.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of Monty Python with my dad, and I remember watching Holy Grail. I would have been about 7 and being like, I don't get it, but this is great.
Yeah. I remember seeing Holy Grail when I was probably about 7. My cousin, I watched it with my cousin, and I remember the one I remember loving was the Black Knight scene where they chop off all these limbs. Because I think that was so accessible for a kid because there's the fun in the fact that you're chopping off his limbs, but he's still up for a fight. But every time I watch that movie again, like I just find more and more stuff funny from it. It's so amazing. Yeah.
And I love silly, and silly has always been a big part of my upbringing. I come from a line of very silly people.
Yeah.
And want to bring that all the time. But another inspiration, in the car with my mum, I'd always listen to Martin Malloy albums.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
And I loved them, and just, all the jokes about like, I don't know, just like poop shoots and stuff. I'd be like, yes, on the way to kinder.
I never listened to Martin Malloy, but like so many people in the industry, in the radio biz, like just rave about that show. Like I need to find it and dig it up and just like try and listen to old versions of it, because they were surely pre-podcasting as well.
Oh yeah, like back when you'd get the greatest hits on. I'm seeing Hamish and Andy's book on the coffee table here.
Yeah,
like you get all of the hits on a disc and you'd listen to it in the car. Very that.
Yeah, I think because H&A have a couple best ofs, and I think they're on Spotify.
Oh, are they? Because I remember having the album when they did the People's Chip. When they the Gravy Chip.
The Gravy Chip. Yeah.
When they're just doing the birth of Venus, just lying in chippies. I had that album.
Yeah. And what about like TV? Any TV stuff? Like we talked about The Simpsons. So like that's definitely big with you.
Frickin' hell, I love The Simpsons. Yeah. It's kind of the only way that I talk to people.
Is through Simpsons quotes.
Through Simpsons quotes.
Do you have a favorite ep?
It changes so constantly, but I think I landed on one the other day. There's like a top 5, I reckon. I love the Maison Derriere.
I feel like that's so up your alley.
It's so funny.
The music. I love who put this. The songs from the early days were so good.
Incredible, right? Like, and of course the monorail episode. Yeah. I mean, you got to give it to a Music Man parody.
Oh yeah, that's the monorail song, which was written by Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
And like is literally like, I think I watched Conan say somewhere like that song is literally just like bum 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 bum, but like the whole song is just like a 4/4 of 4 notes, and like it's so simple but it's so good.
Yeah,
I love that. And then the Apu song, the Who Needs the Quickie Mart?
Yeah, that's good. But even in like later seasons, which most of it's kind of dog shit, but like the Yvonne Niage episode is so funny.
Yeah.
Just Ralph with like this deep baritone.
I gotta drop the ball. Lieutenant, what's his name?
Lieutenant Smash. Lieutenant LT Smash.
Yeah, that New Kids on the Block, I believe, is the title of
Very
that
well
episode.
done.
Yeah, and NSYNC is in that episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, those are 3 really strongs, but is there 2 more?
Oh my goodness. I think the first Halloween special with the Raven, like like you knew me in high school, like being kind of like a little emo kid. Like you love Edgar Allan Poe. Oh my god! And also, Citizen Kang is one of my favorite Halloween episodes. So
which one's Citizen Kang? Is that where they're running for? Is that the twirling, always twirling?
Yeah, always twirling towards freedom.
Yeah, that one's so good. And any other like comedic inspirations you want to rave about?
Yeah, well, like every comedy nerd growing up in Australia, I'd religiously watch the gala. The Comedy Festival Gala, I'd tape it and just study it. So I'm such a nerd, I can be like, oh yeah, that comedian did that in 2008 and then they did this in 2010. But I remember seeing Tim Minchin on there and just my mind was blown, like this truly like unusual, dark, intelligent person with playing this incredible music. Just, I didn't really know it then, but that like set this little fire in here.
I remember over Christmas I listened to the Tim Minchin Christmas song.
Yeah.
Which is just like, I totally get what you mean with him. Like, it's so satirical and like darkly satirical, but also like the composition of his songs are always so fun and stuff. With like the Christmas one I really like. Like, Tim Minchin's a really special performer.
Absolutely.
Have you ever met him?
No, I think I tweeted him once and he replied, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's awesome. So Tim Minchin's another like really big one for you.
Oh, he's incredible. And yeah, I think especially, I say getting older, I know I'm not that old, but like when I discovered Tim Minchin, I was probably like 13. Now I'm 27. The lyrics just mean something completely different to me now in a really beautiful way. Like, I think about the Christmas song you talk about when he's singing about babies and stuff, and now that a lot of my friends have had kids and I've got nephews, like that just, it really speaks to me in a different way now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about how like the meaning of music can change for you over your life. Like the song remains the same, but the meaning just shifts as your life shifts. And when I was studying my media degree at RMIT, one of the classes I did was about like exactly that. Like, every time you engage with any text, being like a book, a film, a TV show, an album, whatever it might be, the meaning inherently changes with every view based on where you are in your life. And I always really loved that about pop culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. By the way, are you still like super into Blink-182?
Mate, if I ever answer no to that question, I want you to delete me and stop being friends with me.
Right. I just have so many memories of you at house parties with friends just drunkenly singing I Miss You, just going, where are you?
Your 21st or 18th had a jukebox.
Yes, you were at my 18th.
Was it a Disney themed?
It was a Disney themed 18th.
And I came as quite an obscure character. I was TJ, the lead character from Recess.
Yes, you were. Oh, it was so brilliant.
And no one knew what it was, so I had to carry around a printed out A4 piece of paper with TJ on it. And as soon as people saw it, they're like, oh my God, it's that guy. You look exactly like him. Like, I drew freckles on and everything.
I remember. Oh, that was that was excellent. Oh God.
Who were you? Who did you go as at that?
Oh, I just had like a slutty Queen of Hearts
Alice in
costume. And I say
Wonderland,
slutty with absolute respect to, slutty is excellent.
It was a great costume. I remember it very vividly. And I kept the whole night, I just was typing in Blink-182 into the jukebox, and the only song it had was I Miss You. So I was like, hey guys, we always sing this. We've got to put this song on. And it was a lot of fun.
It was my cousin's husband, who grew up very country, came to that party.
Is he in Blink-182?
Oh my God.
I actually thought you were going to say
Travis Barker is in my family.
Travis Tovey, now known as Travis Barker.
I just remember him watching all these like young men just doing karaoke, being like, this rules. Like, we did not have this at parties when I was 18.
This is how I usually finish up.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably going to take 6 to 7 minutes, so we're not quite done yet. Great. But like, and we've kind of like explored this area, but I always love to know from everyone, what do you think is one album, movie, and book? And I know you're into video games, so let's add in for you video games.
Great.
That you think everyone should play or should watch, play, read, listen to. Like, it doesn't have to be your favorite. It's just one that you think everyone should experience in their life.
Great. So book, it was book, video game, movie.
And album.
Oh my goodness. So again, these are all going to be like super lame. Like, I'm not cool.
No. Totally fair. Like, I think, because my thing with this is that, because a lot of people feel like they have to do a disclaimer in that sense. They're like, oh, like my favorite movie is this, but I know it's lame. But like, I think people like what they like for different reasons. So I feel like you never have to disclaim what you like. Like, you like it because it's touched you in some way.
Mainly, disclosing the album because I know that the artist is like a known like raving Trump supporter, but I love so Meatloaf's Bad Outta Hell is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Really? Okay.
I used to listen to it in the car with my dad and just, rock opera. Oh, I'm
cool.
obsessed. Also, I'll add another album, The Darkness's Permission to Land.
With I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
I've seen The Darkness live. I was going to see them a third time, but then the pandemic happened.
Okay, yeah.
I've seen them live twice. It's incredible.
I have not listened to either of those, but I will. I'm trying to listen to a new album every day in 2021, so
Let me know what you think.
I'll listen to The Darkness tonight and Meatloaf maybe next week.
Oh, you're going to have a time.
Cool.
So book, this is, it's more of a book for young people with uteruses.
Totally cool.
So Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume.
Okay.
So I remember, I think I've read it 8 times in my childhood.
Yeah.
So I just remember reading it and going up to my mum being like, what's a period? And she's like, okay, this is, Judy Blume's brought this conversation on, let's do it.
Is Judy Blume, did she write the Tales of the Fourth Grade Nothing?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I do know her.
Oh, seminal children's author, and it's so funny as well because I'm sure, I think the book, it was written around the 80s, so they're having very 80s house parties, and I appreciate the tweeness of it. Kids might just be like, why aren't they Snapchatting? This isn't fun.
There's no TikTok at this party. What the hell?
No one's doing that.
No one's doing the Harlem Shake.
Oh my God. The Harlem Shake.
No one's doing Gangnam Style.
I think we went to the same uni, Mike. And
Melbourne Uni?
Yeah.
I went there for a year, yeah.
Oh my!
Did we do a Harlem Shake?
Well, I remember pardon me for hitting the mic. I remember on O Week they tried to get a Harlem Shake going with the president of the student union. It was just 5 people dancing like this around.
Yeah, I would have not participated in that.
I was kind of like, guys, it'll be fun. They're like, no, Alice, that Harlem Shake will follow you.
It'll resurface like the photos of me at your 21st birthday party dressed as an ISIS-looking ninja.
Yes. Oh yeah. Now the ISIS is coming back to me now.
Okay, so that's the book.
That's the book.
And is it what about that spoke to you?
I think it was especially when you're little and you're on the cusp of adulthood and you don't know what to expect. Just kind of having any guidebook, and also Kaz Cook, another great book just for young people, particularly women, people with uteruses. Is just girl stuff because it's just an encyclopedia of here's what you should expect.
Yes.
Here's all the things.
Many of the girls I dated in high school had that book.
I have
read that book.
It's good, hey. Yeah. So much information.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
good.
what is this lump? Check the guide.
All right, and then movie and video game.
Okay, movie. My favorite movie of all time is Wayne's World. It is a perfect movie.
Mike Myers, yeah.
I love Mike Myers movies. He can do he's done a lot of wrong, but he can do no wrong.
He's literally Shrek, the Cat in the Hat, and Austin Powers.
The Cat in the Hat kind of rules. I know it's bad, but it kind of rules.
That Cat in the Hat movie is so funny.
It has no right. The bit where they're doing the cupcake cooking show and he threatens the other cat with a knife. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I loved that movie because it breaks the fourth wall so much.
Yeah.
And I love that style of
comedy.
comedy.
Paris Hilton's in it.
Is she?
You know that bit where the cat, he inexplicably goes into an underground club with the children?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think that Paris Hilton just goes that's hot, and the cat's like, thanks, and walks away.
Yeah, so why Wayne's World? Just generally Mike Myers?
Oh, it's so funny. It's a laugh a minute. I remember when I saw it for the first time, I was probably about 12.
Yeah.
And I just died laughing, and I just went around to sleepovers at friends' houses and we need to watch Wayne's World, and just showed it to everyone I knew. That's
like me with this movie that is nowhere near as popular or good as Wayne's World. It was called Dickie Roberts' Former Child Star. It had David Spade in it. Have you ever seen it?
Oh my God. Oh, it rings such a bell.
I think it was a flop film, and it's about David Spade plays this character called Dickie Roberts who was a child star, and now he's fucked up in his adulthood, but he wants to be famous again. And I'm sure I haven't watched it in so long, but I'm sure if I watched it now, it would be shit. But I just remember loving it.
Oh, babe, you don't need to talk to me about shit. Every weekend, so I spent a lot of time at my best friend's house in Mont Albert, and we went to the video rental store there, and without fail, every weekend we would rent either Hot Chick or White Chicks. And that's all we watched for
White
2
Chicks
years.
is very good.
Oh, is it though?
I mean, it's all right.
I mean, Hold My Poodle holds up. I'll stand by Hold My Poodle.
Yeah. Video game.
Video game. It is.
I've never asked anyone this because
Really?
I've never had anyone that I feel like is super into video games. So.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel, don't come for me in the comments because I'm somewhat into, I like a video game. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing throughout lockdown.
Cool.
Yeah, just tending my garden, being like, the world is fine. But favourite video game of all time has to be Spyro Year of the Dragon.
Is that number 3?
Yep.
Okay, that is a pretty good choice.
I've played it to completion so many times.
And that's the one where you're collecting the dragon eggs, yeah? Or is
Yes, that is the one with the eggs, because the first one is when you have to free the dragons.
Statues,
and
yeah.
I think it's eggs in the second and third one as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so why Spyro? Why Spyro 3?
I think I just played it. I played it every summer of my childhood, and to when I was a teenager as well. And it's just such a satisfying, fun journey. The character design rules.
Yeah.
And there's just something great about just getting all of the gems in a level and getting that little... It's probably like an early sign of OCD thing where it's like 100 out of 100.
The completionist.
Yeah, the completionist in me loves it.
I really like those games. They're really good 3D platformers. And have you played the Reignited Trilogy? Which is
it's cool.
Do you think they did a good job remaking them? Yeah, same.
I do, even though it's so funny. I've been playing a few revamped older games. Like I was playing Crash Bandicoot, and it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, the Crash Bandicoot is so hard. Spyro was always a little bit easier, which is it was a bit more of a chill experience where you could just run around the world, collect the gems, kill a few enemies, do a few goals. Whereas Crash Bandicoot, it's like
go.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you got past this bit, but now there's this thing coming towards you, and of course you didn't see that. And now you're dead, and you're back at the start. Crash Bandicoot is very hard.
Yeah.
I think Spyro 3 is an incredible choice. So
what's your favourite game? What's the game everyone has to play? Is it Smash?
I don't think it would be Smash because I think that Super Smash Bros. Is so hard to if you're new to it, it can be very overwhelming if you're playing with someone who knows how to play, right?
Who do you main on Smash?
In the current one,
yeah,
my favorite character to play is Pokemon Trainer because you switch between the 3 Pokemon. And I love all of them, and
That's
I
so
also
stressful.
love Pokemon. Nah, it's so fun. But I reckon that for me, the game that I think everyone should play in their lifetime, very hard, but I would probably say Kingdom Hearts.
Love it.
Which is the Disney
the
crossover
first
game.
PS2.
The first one, yeah.
Gorgeous.
It's just the story is incredible. It's quite an accessible game. It's pretty easy, but it's a nice little introduction to an action RPG, and it's just really fun. It's awesome.
You're right. It's divine storytelling as well. I can't remember it specifically, but I'd watch my brother play it and just cry.
Yeah. Oh, it's quite an emotional story, and just when I first played it when I was 10 years old, I was just wow, this is an incredible game, and I love it. And I still play all the new ones. But yeah, I think that first Kingdom Hearts game is a game everyone should play, especially if you love Disney. You're running around with Aladdin and killing Jafar and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Let's plug your socials.
Sure.
So, and just plug away.
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me on Instagram at Altove. So that's ALTOVE. Or just search Alice Tovey on Facebook and Twitter. And you can go to my website, alicetovey.com, which I promise to update now. Now that people might be looking at it.
And we will stay tuned about if you're doing any shows. Which may, but I guess if the comedy festival goes ahead this year, maybe just go to their website and type in Alice Tovey, and if something comes up, I would recommend going to Alice's show if it's happening, which it may or may not be.
And if you're in Melbourne, it's such a good festival. Yeah. So many cool acts around. get amongst it. See Jude Pearl, see Wowalissa, see Hot Department, Annie and Lena. They're all great. Everyone's great. DM me for requests. I'll talk about this for ages.
Yeah, awesome. Alice Tovey, thank you so much. We will shake hands, which I've never done at the end of this, but this is the end of the pod.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
But I went to run my hand through your hair and I noticed you were attached to string. You were a puppet this whole time, you were attached to string.